Hi everyone, welcome to the Seniors Forum Show. I'm your host, Nick DiTomaso. Normally on the Seniors Forum Show, we talk about issues concerning the health and welfare of the most vulnerable segment of our society, our senior citizens. But because of the historical times in which we live, the upcoming primary elections, and in November, the elections, today we will talk about the historic debt, historic taxes, and the recently passed historic health care reform bill and the historic impact they will have on our seniors and the American people. With the help of my guest, we will try to ascertain how we move against the corrupt career politicians with their agenda of power over the people instead of power by and for the people, your quote. When the question was put to my guest, his answer was simple: vote them out of office. I couldn't agree with him more. So please join me in welcoming for the first time on the Seniors Forum Show, Anthony Mele, who is running for Congress in the 17th Congressional District. Welcome to the Seniors Forum Show, Tony.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the introduction.
Suppose we begin by your giving us a sneak preview of who Anthony Mele is.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation, and thank everyone for viewing and giving me this opportunity. My background is I'm born and raised in the Bronx, New York. I come from Italian and Puerto Rican heritage. I went to Taft High School in the Bronx. I graduated Tenafly High School in New Jersey, and then I joined the United States Army. I served for 6.5 years in the Army in a variety of challenging assignments, ranging from the 3rd United States Infantry, the Old Guard at Fort Myer. I took my oath of service at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers, and I'm reminded that that oath never came with an expiration date. I then was selected to be a member of the Attaché Intelligence System. I graduated the Defense Intelligence School, was assigned to the Defense Intelligence Agency, the Intelligence and Security Command. I served in the United States military mission to Saudi Arabia, in the Military Advisory Group. I then was assigned to the Office of the Assistant Chief of Staff for Intelligence at the Pentagon, and served my time there. I held extremely high clearances, top secret, SCI and above, and then I left the Army, went into the private sector, started my own business as a security consultant. I provided protective and bodyguard services to a variety of clients around the world, among them the former deputy director of the CIA.
Oh, I know. I was reading your resume, and I'm telling you, I couldn't read it all because it was a very impressive resume. And when I looked, after I got through, I said, "What do we have here? 007?" So it's a real pleasure having you here, Tony.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, in your campaign literature, you intimate, and that the reason for your wanting to run for Congress is to restore honor back into government, and that you believe in the basic principles of limited government, limited taxation, and for a strong national security. Suppose we discuss that. How do you? Can you be more elaborate in
Sure,
that,
sir. Sure, of course. First of all, I recognize my vulnerabilities and my shortcomings as a human being. I do the best I can, and I have many shortcomings, too long to list in this program. But one of them that I do not have is that I try to maintain honor. And what honor means is to do what is right, even when no one else is looking, or can give you credit for it. And apparently, much of that ideal has been lost and needs to be rekindled and reminded. Also, we need to recognize that the United States Constitution was written for the restraint of government by the people and not the government restraining the people. And so that is an inversion that needs to be reversed, and we need to restore the integrity, the spirit, and the honor that was the founding of our Constitution. And the beauty of the Constitution of the United States was that it is unique. It is completely unique in American civilization. From the first civilization to the Sumerians, to the Babylonians, to the Egyptians, to Alexander the Great, up to the point to the 1700s, where we had our revolution, was that the world was ruled by kings. The world was ruled by kings. There was never ever in human history a free people until the Boston Tea Party, until Sam Adams and a few revolutionaries threw that tea over Boston Harbor and declared to a king, the most powerful king in the world of kings, that we shall have no kings over us, that we will be a free people, that we will not bow down, we will not bend our knee, nor will be subjects, nor will our children or our progeny be subjects. And only 4% of the colonial population, 4% of the 13 colonies were involved in some way or another in that revolution. And they prevailed, sir. And they prevailed. The repercussions of which reverberated around the world through history up to today. And the French Revolution followed and such. And the world changed. It was a leap. And the world changed and transformed from a world of kings and people subjugated by rulers and tyrants to self-rule. And it is fragile. And up to today, in our present time, we find ourselves again threatened, where our individual liberties, the liberties of our children, are restrained and threatened by an authoritarian type of government being imposed on us. And this must be stopped.
We discussed that before we went on the air, that people do not understand the true meaning of a democracy.
That's right.
If we lived in a true democracy, we wouldn't have the freedoms we have.
Of course not. That's mob rule.
Right.
That's mob rule. If everyone in this room, by democratic rule, majority rule, voted to take your wallet, you would be the one vote not to. So we are a republic. Right. We are a representative government. And that's why we have the two houses of representatives, which is the Congress and the Senate, to represent the people, so that there never is an imbalance of power, but that there is a balance of power. And what we find today is what happens, or what's the outcome and the unintended consequence when there is this disproportionate balance of power. What you have is authoritarian rule. I watched with appalling shock and horror and concern where I saw the candidate for Supreme Court Kagan, when she was asked by the congressman or the senator whether or not a law could be passed by the government that will impose your dietary rules, where the government would basically tell you, you have to eat your broccoli. And she said yes. Well, if that ever happened and it became a crime not to eat your broccoli, I would be on the FBI's 10 most wanted list. The only person on this planet who has ever forced me to eat broccoli is my mother. And I don't think that is the United States government's role to impose the power of the federal government on the individual. This is wrong. And so when we have Supreme Court judges ascending the bench for life with this mindset, this statist authoritarian mindset, then the republic is in peril, and it's going to take all of us working together in the spirit of the paladin, which were people or knights who were champions of a cause, to resist it in the tradition of our own history of patriots who stood up against tyranny, authoritarianism, wherever they found it. The history of the United States, and many of our seniors, as you know, came from the greatest generation, the World War II generation, the Korean War vet generation. The United States has nothing to apologize for. The United States never went out and conquered territories